Hi there, it's Gabriella Millian, your favorite soft lifestyle guide, soft life girly. And today we are covering the girl archetype. If you watched my last two videos on the queen and the mother archetype, those two feminine archetypes are on the more masculine end of the feminine energy spectrum. So now we are going to cover one of the more feminine energy archetypes, the girl archetype. So if you remember in the queen archetype energy video, I talked about how I learned this updated version of archetypes from a femininity coach, which is an updated version of Carl Jung's original 12 Jungian archetypes. I have worked with the Jungian archetypes before, but I believe that these updated archetypes are much more related to modern society and much easier to use as a blueprint to create your dream lifestyle and become a well-rounded woman. But if you are more familiar with the original 12 Jungian archetypes, this girl energy archetype is a rendition of Carl Jung's The Innocent, because the girl energy archetype is all about being gentle and understanding. Now, because we live in a more masculine society these days, the girl energy archetype is not really as supported, even though it is super duper important, especially when establishing relationships, whether it's relationships with a significant other, friendships, your family members. This energy is needed for those personal relationships. Where the queen and mother energy, that's more of the masculine energy that you might use in building your career, in managing your resources. But what good is managing your resources and building a career if you have no one to share it with? So if you find yourself having trouble with relationships, this is probably the energy that you need in your life. Now, I've talked about this before, but most women are a combination of these four feminine archetypes that I break down. And we're just gonna dive deep into girl energy right now. And girl energy is actually one of the two archetypes that comes most naturally to me. And it's an energy that's very easy for me. So what does girl energy represent? Usually natural girl archetypes are very fun, they're very easy to be around, they're very emotional and gullible and sensitive, but they're also very supportive. And that's why this energy is really important when building relationships, because they are the most vulnerable archetype, and it's much easier for them to open up when it comes to connecting to other people. Some of their struggles is they can be very gullible, they can have a hard time making money or be very irresponsible with money. Now, early on in my career, I thought I was naturally a queen archetype because I had no problems making money, but I was irresponsible in managing my money. So even though I brought in a lot of resources, they flew away pretty quickly because I'm a little bit more irresponsible, like most girl archetypes. Another struggle of a lot of girl archetypes is they can have a really hard time making decisions and be very indecisive on different things. This is why it's either good to surround yourself with women who are healthy queen and mother archetypes, or to surround yourself with a very healthy masculine man that can help you in making those tough decisions. So how do you know if you're naturally a girl archetype? Very often, girl archetypes are very sensitive, especially when you were a little girl. If you got yelled at, you would probably cry right away, or you were very emotional. A lot of girl archetypes are very open to love and very supportive and very vulnerable, which is why this energy is very helpful in creating relationships. So you probably have an easy time making friends. You might have some issues making money or managing your money. You're really funny, or you just have a very light sense of humor and don't take things very seriously. You have a very open heart and you're more dependent on other people. That's what I mean when I was kind of talking about how a lot of girl archetypes have a hard time making decisions because they like collaborating with other people. They're great team builders and they're great players on teams because they're able to collaborate with others. Where the queen and mother archetypes, they can be a little bit more of that dictator and leader, and they want to control everything. But girl archetypes are like, what do you need me to do? Lots of natural girl archetypes are a little bit more girly, they like girly clothes, and they usually like a little bit more of a natural look. Usually queen archetypes like heavier makeup, or they like a lot of plastic surgery, where girl archetypes, even if they do get some type of cosmetic work done, they like to make sure that it's very natural. So why is girl energy the most undermined out of all of the feminine archetypes? Well, they're on the more feminine end of the feminine energy spectrum, and they don't have the same level of responsibility or that take charge nature that a queen or a more mother archetype person would have. And in our day and age, our society is very masculine, it's very go-getter, it's very hustle culture. I live in the greater New York City area, and to say that queen energy is on overdrive here would be an understatement. But a lot of people in this area have a really tough time with relationships. And I believe that this is part of the reason why the majority of our culture, at least here in the US, has really bad relationships, or the divorce rate is at almost 70%, is because women don't have enough girl energy. Even though I believe that the majority of women are actually naturally girl archetypes like myself. I'm naturally a girl lover archetype, and I'll be breaking down lover energy in an upcoming video that will be out very soon. But the majority of women are naturally more feminine and girl archetypes, which is why I believe we have so many women these days that are in poor health, that aren't able to sustain healthy relationships, because they feel like they have to force themselves into queen and mother energy when that's not necessarily the most natural to them. Queen and mother energy is important to develop, but you have to develop it in a healthy and authentic way. And I see a lot of women developing it in a way that's not very healthy and authentic to them, and putting aside their natural girl energy. But girl energy is what's needed in order to be dependable, in order to be vulnerable, in order to open up and to connect to other people, in order to have healthy relationships. Because what's the point in having all this queen and mother energy, you know, getting all of these external accolades and success in business, if you have no one to share it with? Trust me, it's not worth it. So even if you are naturally a queen or a mother archetype, you want to be able to sustain enough healthy girl energy in order to build really good relationships, especially if that is your natural energy to begin with. So what are some natural ways that you can build girl energy in your life, whether you're a natural girl archetype or not? I like to give these little homework assignments because it's really hard to build a certain energy if you have no practice doing it, especially if you're forcing yourself into an archetype energy that's not as natural to you. So for my ladies who are Miss Independent and always want to prove how competent they are and how they can do everything on their own, I want you to do the exact opposite and ask a man for help. When I have worked with women who are heavy in their queen and mother energy, the idea of asking a man for help for anything is like disgusting to them. They're like, what do you mean ask a man for help? And it's as simple as, if you're at the grocery store, asking a man to bring some of the stuff to your car, especially if it's heavier. If you're at a restaurant or a cafe or a bar by yourself, asking a man, hey, have you been here before? I don't know what's good on the menu. Can you order for me? These simple activities seem like nothing, but they help you to get into that more vulnerable girl energy. And what's so funny is every time I've told a woman to do this, they are always so shocked at how eager these men are to help them with simple activities. So this is a great way just to kind of get yourself into the more dependable, dependent energy where you're asking people for help and you're open to receiving help, because being hyper independent isn't even natural for humans. So asking a man for help is a really great way to get yourself into that girl energy. If you want to heighten this even more, ask your father for help with something. Could be anything, like, hey dad, can you help me paint this room? Can you help me bring some items home? Can you help me ask him for money? Like, can I have some money for X, Y, and Z? I know that this seems, especially if you're grown and you've been out of the house for a long time, this seems like not that big of a deal, or why would I ask my dad? Like, I've been independent for a long time. But lots of times women have a hard time asking men that they don't know for help, so it's usually a little bit easier for them to ask a man that they do know. Or if you don't want to do that, then show some sort of appreciation towards your father. Like, thank you so much for doing X, Y, and Z. Thank you so much for moving to this country. Thank you so much for helping me with certain things while I was growing up. I really appreciate what you did for me while I was a kid, or even more recently. This helps to show girl energy and to practice girl energy, because girl archetypes and girl energy is all about appreciation. It's all about being a big cheerleader and cheering people on and showing that you appreciate what they do for you, or even what they do for other people. The last recommendation that I would give is to write a list of 100 things that you are grateful for men. It doesn't have to be just about the men in your life. It could be, I'm grateful for the men that paved the roads, that built the buildings in New York City, that built this playground, that founded this country. A big reason why a lot of women subconsciously have issues in their relationship is because they have too many subconscious programmings of making men the enemy and making men, we have this kind of man-hating culture nowadays because of feminism, because of women empowerment in the toxic ways. And so by rewriting the narrative of, you know what, there's actually a lot of men that did a lot of great things and that helped to structure what I currently live in and what I do day to day. Most likely the people that built this park that I'm filming in right now were men. Maybe there was a woman here and there that was involved in it, but it was probably majority men. So by showing gratitude towards men for the different things that they might have done, you are rewiring your subconscious brain to not be a man-hater. And when you're not a man-hater, you're able to attract a man that's actually good for you, or you're going to be able to look at the men in your current life, whether you're with a significant other or not, in a much more favorable way. And trust me, that man will feel how you look at him more favorably and want to do more for you.